but he needs to keep distance to put his game. Every guy who close the distance, punish him or put him down, explode on the ground pound, he get trouble. Basically, I'm gonna do the same.
I think that fight's gonna be a lot of him tagging Patricio and doing all that fancy, aesthetically beautiful footwork he does, and yeah, I think he'll get a finish.
Umar Nurmagomedov's coach, Javier Mendez, has claimed that Umar was the actual and deserving winner at UFC 311 against Merab Dvalishvili. Umar and Merab Dvalishvili faced each other in the co-main event at UFC 311, where the current bantamweight champion defended his belt by ending Umar's unbeaten streak in UFC. However, Umar's coach, Javier Mendez, has shared his thoughts on where Umar lost the fight. According to Mendez, Umar won at least three rounds in that fight, but in the 5th round, it was Merab's showboating and body language that made the judges believe that he is winning and forced them to declare him the winner.
He was, I just said to him, I said what I felt. I said, you know what, Umar? I felt, in my opinion, I felt you won 3 out of the 5 rounds, and maybe I'm being biased, but I felt in the 5th round, the reason why you didn't win is because he showboated his way to winning that. Like, yes. He acted like the victor where you were tired. And that's why I feel he basically took it from you, because you led him.
Javier Mendez said Umar gave more damage to Merab through the fight, but the Georgian fighter tricked the judges with his mind games. Mendez admitted that Umar failed to stop Merab from doing the showboating, and he can't completely blame the judges for that result.
Because when you're looking on damage and this and that, but when it comes to presence, he definitely got that. He definitely got that. So, but the actual damage that he did was nothing compared to what Umar did. He did more, but again, he did show that I'm the winner, and Umar couldn't stop him, from showing that, so I can see how the judges would get swayed on that.
Mendez also talked about the broken finger of Umar Nurmagomedov. During his fight with Merab, Umar reportedly broke his finger in the 1st round, but instead of backing off, he continued to fight with that injured hand.
But when I come back and I see him, he comes in, I go into the room and I see his hand, and you look at his hand here, and this finger's all the way down here, broken, and I'm like, my eyes just got really wide, like, whoa. Oh my God. What the heck?
On the other hand, UFC 314 is also inching closer, where apart from the main and co-main events, the fight that is getting a lot of hype is Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull Freire. These two will fight in a featherweight clash on the UFC 314 pay-per-view card on April 12th. The former 2-division Bellator champion Patricio Pitbull has left the PFL, and he will be making his UFC debut against Rodriguez. After dominating PFL, Patricio Pitbull is in a perfect position to make his name in UFC, as the 37-year-old wishes to put up a show against Rodriguez. He has a plan to smash the one-time interim featherweight champion and announce himself with a win. Pitbull revealed his intentions during an interview. He is very dynamic, but I have a pow and I'm going to smash him. Patricio will be fighting on the same card where Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez are booked for the featherweight belt. Pitbull thinks there's a reason why he is debuting on the same card where the featherweight title is on the line. Patricio feels he will be a top contender for the belt if he beats the number 5 ranked Yair Rodriguez. Patricio said, "The UFC didn't say anything, but I feel the card they put me on, the position they put me in, they're really aligning me to potentially be a contender in the featherweight division." The former Bellator champion further added that he is ready every time to compete for the belt. He doesn't care who wins the belt, as he is confident about his skills that he will take the belt and become a UFC champion as well. Pitbull further added, "I'm always ready. We win that fight. Whoever wins the main event I'm going to face, no problem. But I know it depends on my next fight. I know my place, but I'm going to take that belt. You'll see." Patricio Freire has predicted a smashing performance at UFC 314. Pitbull said he will enter the cage with a champion mindset and will try his best to claim a victory against Yair Rodriguez.
But he needs to keep distance to put his game. Every guy who close the distance, punish him or put him down, explode on the ground pound, he get trouble. Basically, I'm gonna do the same.
Right.
The UFC featherweight fighter Youssef Zalal said it's a very interesting matchup, and he is excited to see a close fight between these two. He picked Yair Rodriguez to display his skills and experience in the octagon to register a victory over Patricio Pitbull.
Bro, I don't know how Pitbull is gonna come in and how he does, because Yair is wild, man. So I'm definitely, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go with Yair. I'm gonna stick with Yair. just because he's been in the UFC for a longer time, but man, Pitbull is still out there.
The UFC heavyweight fighter Curtis Blades backs Yair Rodriguez to beat Patricio in his debut UFC fight. He praised the footwork of Rodriguez and backs him to get the job done at UFC 314.
I think that fight's going to be a lot of him tagging Patricio and doing all that fancy, aesthetically beautiful footwork he does, and yeah, I think he'll get a finish.
Austin Vanderford also expressed his thoughts about the upcoming Rodriguez versus Pitbull encounter. He acknowledged the achievements of Patricio Freire in Bellator. However, the welterweight fighter believes the striking and style of Rodriguez would prove to be a major threat to the former Bellator champion. He predicts Yair Rodriguez to win and spoil the UFC debut of Pitbull.
Yeah, really interesting fight. I've got Yair Rodriguez in that one. Patricio, obviously a stud, had his reign in Bellator for a long time. But I think it is tough going, especially like circumstances like Michael Chandler going to the UFC and getting thrown into these big fights immediately. Not to say that he's not going to be ready and be prepared to do it, but Yair Rodriguez is a really interesting guy, and unorthodox striking, and like you saw with the zombie fight, the crazy spinning elbow and all that. So if I had to bet my life on it right now, I'd say Yair Rodriguez.
Similarly, Corey Sandhagen also believes Yair Rodriguez has an upper hand in this fight. He admires that Patricio has a greater experience as compared to Rodriguez, but he feels Rodriguez is young and he is more likely to win this fight.
That's going to be a tough one, I think, for the both of them, honestly. I'm going to go with Yair, just because I think Yair is a little bit younger. I know he's not as experienced, and Pitbull's beat some really good guys, but I think Pitbull has had a lot of fights now. I don't really know how old he is, but I know I've been watching Pitbull for a long time, so I'll go with Yair.
On the contrary, the UFC featherweight fighter Julian Erosa picks Patricio Freire to win his debut UFC fight. According to Julian, Yair Rodriguez is not at his best at the moment, and he might struggle against an experienced guy like Patricio, who is known to knock out anybody.
Yeah, that's an interesting one as well. I think I don't know. I think Yair kind of has, it seems like he's kind of lost his step a little bit, and Pitbull is one of those guys that just knocks everybody out. So that's interesting, but I think I got to go with Pitbull.
Josh Emmett has also shared his thoughts about this fight. Emmett has fought Yair Rodriguez in an interim title fight at UFC 284 in February 2023, where he was submitted by Rodriguez. Emmett also has an idea about Patricio's fighting skills, but he isn't sure who has the upper hand in this fight. According to him, the initial few minutes of their fight will be the key to predict a winner. Emmett said, "I know Pitbull. He's really good. He was a 2-division champion at Bellator, but I don't know. Stylistically, we'll see real quick in the first round. I can argue how both guys win and get the job done, but it's who shows up, who wants it more, but I think we'll figure that out very quick within the first few minutes of the fight." Henry Cejudo's coach, Eddie Cha, is excited for this fight. He showed his excitement to see how Patricio Freire would approach this fight. Pitbull is among the all-time greats in Bellator, and it would be interesting to see Patricio's performance in the UFC, as it's expected to be a very close matchup.
I'm going Pitbull, again, being biased, but I'm really excited to see how he does in the UFC. He was pound for pound one of the best guys at one point, and I don't think I still think he's got a lot in the tank, and that's a very interesting matchup. So that's a great card too. I'm excited for that.
Furthermore, Jai Herbert said that this is a bad boy fight. He gave the edge to Rodriguez because of the style, kicks, and his powerful attacks. He thinks Yair Rodriguez is the favorite to win this fight, and he is a major threat to the former Bellator champion.
That's a bad boy fight, that, isn't it? Yeah. I like that fight, man. I'll be interested to watch. Is that on Miami as well? Is it Miami?
That's Miami, yeah. That card's stacked. Yeah, that fight's on there too.
Yeah, man, that'd be sick. I'd say I like Rodriguez in that fight, man. I think he's very dynamic in that, the way he throws all the different kicks and elbows and, spinning attacks. So that'd be good. But Pitbull's, a veteran, and he's got the tools as well, got the power as well. So it's an interesting fight.
Who would you give the edge to? I think Yair is the favorite going in. Do you think that's the right call?
I'll give the edge to Yair, man. Because how dynamic he is. So I'll give the edge to Yair, but whatever happens, that's going to be a banger of a fight.
However, Pedro Falcao has a different opinion about this fight. He feels Patricio would have the upper hand in this fight because of his experience and powerful punches. He praised the power and explosive attacks of Pitbull and backed him to win this fight.
I think Patricio has the experience and the skill for beat everybody in this division. The people think he looking like he's small for the division, but bro, he's so explosive. He knows how to play big guys, and the guys kick a lot for him. He's fine for him. The guy gonna kick him because he have power hands and strong hands, and I think it's a good match for him. Yair Rodriguez for sure.
The UFC middleweight fighter Cody Brundage said it will be a close fight. According to him, Pitbull will be a tough challenge for Patricio, and it won't be a great idea to underestimate him. Cody further picks Yair Rodriguez to win this fight because of his remarkable striking. He mentioned Pitbull's weaknesses and gave an extra edge to Rodriguez because of his speed.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's crazy because you hear all these crazy rumors about Yair, like he doesn't care anymore, he doesn't train hard anymore. And if that's true, then I would say Patricio will win because Patricio's an absolute killer. But Yair is so special, man. He's super talented, super fast, very dynamic on the feet, good submissions. It's a tough one to call. I'm gonna go Yair because I think he's longer. That's in Mexico City, right? That card is that?
No. That's Miami. Miami 214.
Miami. Yeah, I'll go Yair. I think Patricio's a little bit older. Speed is going to be a big disadvantage for him, and he's kind of smaller for the division. He fought at 35 before, I know, so I'll go Yair.
Christian Rodriguez refused to predict a winner as he believes this is going to be a very close fight. The featherweight fighter praised the skills of both fighters and is hoping to see the best version of them on April 12th. According to Christian, Yair Rodriguez is a great fighter, but no one should underestimate the experience of Patricio Freire.
Honestly, from that whole card, that's one of my favorite fights. I think it's a really, really good fight. It's a tough fight, definitely. People can't count out Pitbull. I feel like just because they think he's in Bellator means it's gonna be an easy fight, but no, Pitbull is a really legit opponent. But I think, yeah, I'm not sure. It's definitely a tough one. I think if Yair uses his range and he can get it done, but I don't know. I honestly have. Even before you asked me, like I was kind of watching them. I'm like, I can't pick anybody. I think it all depends who shows up. If they show up like their true versions of themselves that day.
UFC middleweight fighter Elijah Smith knows the skill set of Yair Rodriguez, and he feels he has a greater chance to win this fight. Smith explained that the remarkable speed and striking of Rodriguez would make things difficult for the former Bellator champion. He said Patricio is getting closer to his retirement, and being a younger fighter, Yair Rodriguez has an upper hand in this fight. Elijah Smith said, "I still see Yair Rodriguez winning that fight because he is just a wild guy, man. He is one of those guys, like he is hard to track down because he is constantly moving, throwing, flying, knees spinning and I also think Pitbull, I think he is, on the older side because he was talking about if he didn't get signed to UFC, he was going to retire. So I'm going with Yair Rodriguez." Moreover, Jose Delgado is also excited for this fight. He praised the speed and powerful kicks of Yair Rodriguez and backed him to claim a victory at UFC 314. Jose further said that Patricio Pitbull has passed his prime, and at this age it would be difficult for him to tackle the powerful kicks of Rodriguez.
That's a tough one. Yair's so fast, he kicks so quickly. The dexterity of his kicks are nuts. Patricio's a little older in his career, but man, he's still so good. His positioning's so good. I see Yair taking it. I think Yair will be a little hungry coming off the Ortega loss.
The UFC featherweight fighter Chepe Mariscal also has similar thoughts as he backs Yair Rodriguez to beat Patricio at UFC 314. He seems to be a fan of the style and skills of Rodriguez and predicts a great victory for the feather fighter.
Man, I got Yair. He's really good at using his style at picking and pulling. And I believe every time that anybody that kind of crashes, he's really good at catching them in submissions or angling out and picking them apart. So I got Yair on that one.
Gerald Meerschaert praised the powerful kicks of Yair Rodriguez, and he also picked him as the potential winner of this fight. He acknowledged the Mexican fighter for his striking and kicks that can take down any opponent.
No, of course I got to pick Yair. Yair's movement and his length and the way he uses his kicks, it's like, it's unique even just in general in the sport of MMA. Like, Wonder Boy does, a similar job, or MVP, as far as like distance from afar, but Yair is unique in the sense that like he throws like a lot of flashy kicks and different stuff that actually ends up working. So, how do you train for that if you don't have somebody to mimic that? And even if you have somebody that's close, it's not the same thing as what you're going to see from him. So I don't see how he's going to be able to close the distance and try to, get a hold of him or take him down, because especially from like that karate stance, just head's kind of up out in the open.
Gerald further explained how difficult it is to tackle such a skillful fighter. He believes only extraordinary footwork and ability to take risks can help you to win such fights.
If you're really good at hopping in and out, maybe you can get away with doing that, as long as your feet are fast and you're really aware of where stuff's coming from. But if the guy's got a weird style of striking that you're not used to, and he's longer than you, it's going to be really hard to anticipate where the shot's coming from. So he's either going to have to shell up a little bit more or be more traditional, which is going to open up more kicks for Yair and make him a little bit slower, or he's going to have to like bite down and just take that risk and like possibly get caught with something big on the way in.
On the other hand, the UFC light heavyweight fighter Modestas Bukauskas is very excited for this fight. He believes both are excellent fighters, and he mentioned their skill set. According to Modestas, Patricio Pitbull will manage to win this fight because of his experience and relentless power.
That'll be an interesting matchup. Obviously, they're both very well-rounded, but I guess you could say both of them are more known for their devastating striking. Yair Rodriguez mainly with his kicks, Pitbull mainly with his hands. So yeah, that'll be a very, very interesting fight. I'm really up in the air on who would win that one. Very up in the air, but Rodriguez with his kicking style and stuff like this, maybe Pitbull will be able to close the difference. So I actually have to admit, I'll probably be leaning more towards Pitbull.
Meanwhile, Mario Bautista thinks it's a very difficult UFC debut fight for Pitbull. According to him, Yair Rodriguez is a skilled fighter, and he has a greater range that will cause a lot of trouble for the Bellator star.
That's a tough UFC debut, huh? I think Yair might have the edge with the range and all the tricky things he does there. So, but it should be exciting. It's a nice little mix up into the division there, and to have someone else come from a different organization who did well over there too. But I have Yair.
Vince Morales acknowledged the extraordinary kicking ability of Yair Rodriguez. He rates Rodriguez as one of the best kickers, and that's why he predicts him to get a win in Miami. Vince Morales said, "Super intrigued. I think Yair is the hardest kicker in any division pound for pound, so I think his reach makes a difference. I'm thinking Yair." Brandon Moreno's coach Saif Saud believes this fight will be an interesting one. He highly rates Yair Rodriguez for his unique style and skills. However, Saud also admits that the experience of Pitbull is a worrying factor for Rodriguez. Saud further mentions that Patricio has a limited reach, and this is the area where he might struggle.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think that Yair, when he's hot and he gets cooking, he can really cook. When he gets going and gets in his rhythm, we've seen him, and it really, we got to see how Pitbull adjusts. Pitbull's been around a long time, man. He's a tough guy, but he's not very big, and he doesn't have a long reach at all. And it's not going to be easy for him at distance. I think he's going to have to get the fight to the ground, where Yair is, not as dynamic. But I don't know if he'll be able to do that. So that's going to be the interesting thing there. I don't think he wants to stand with Yair at range.
Saif Saud future mentions his concerns regarding Patricio's age, and he doubts whether the 37-year-old manages to deliver his best or not. According to Saud, Rodriguez is an outstanding featherweight fighter, and he has proved that time and time again. He also said that fighting in UFC is a lot more difficult than any other organizations as it pushes you to your limits.
We'll see. I'm interested to see how that fight plays out, but Yair, man, he's really dangerous. I don't know what the odds are, but I would see him being the favorite. And Pitbull is a little bit older now, so I guess people really kind of just want to see where he is and how his feet move when he hits the big lights. I mean, people can say whatever they want, but the UFC is just different, man. When those lights hit, it's just, there's no brighter lights. So we'll see how he adjusts.
Myron Santos is also among the supporters of Yair Rodriguez and is confident about his victory at UFC 314. The featherweight fighter mentioned the mistakes of Rodriguez that caused him to face defeats against Alexander Volkanovski. Santos believes that Rodriguez has learnt from his mistakes and he has improved himself as a fighter after those defeats. Marion Santos said, "That's a close fight in my opinion, but yeah, I think Yair's going to win. He lost to Volkanovski like in wrestling. He lost to Ortega also like on the ground. I think he is going to make the improvements, and I think that's the best path for Patricio to win. Take the fight on the ground, and I don't think Yair is going to let him do that because he is probably training a lot for that." Santos further expressed his confidence in Yair Rodriguez and backed him to beat Pitbull in the UFC 314 fight card. Santos stated, "So I think Yair is going to win. His striking is phenomenal, and I think it's going to be a problem for Patricio, so I'm going to go with Yair." So this is it from today's video, and hopefully you have liked it. Share your predictions for the Rodriguez versus Pitbull fight in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get instant notification about our latest videos.